What if one wild party night came back to haunt you more than a decade later? For Tony Stark, a single night of reckless fun in 1999 planted the seeds for his greatest downfall. The story starts on New Year's Eve at a tech conference in Switzerland. Tony is at his peak playboy billionaire phase. A nerdy, desperate scientist named Aldrich Killian approaches him on a rooftop, begging for a meeting. Tony, ever the showman, tells him to wait, promising he'll be right there, but he never shows up. Instead, he spends the night with another brilliant scientist, Maya Hansen, who shows him her groundbreaking research, a biological enhancement called Extremis. In one night, Tony dismisses the man who will become his nemesis and learns about the technology that will nearly kill him. He just doesn't know it yet. Fast forward to the present day. After the alien invasion of New York, the hero who saved the world is now a man who can't sleep. The battle left Tony with severe PTSD. He's plagued by panic attacks, haunted by the wormhole, and obsessed with building more and more suits. He's created an entire legion of Iron Man armors, each one a monument to his fear. This obsession is destroying his relationship with Pepper Potts. She sees a man who is physically present, but mentally a million miles away, trapped in a cycle of anxiety and invention. We see a side of Iron Man we've never seen before, not the confident genius, but a broken, vulnerable human being struggling to cope with his trauma. He's a hero who feels anything but heroic. Then, a new nightmare appears on every screen in America. A mysterious terrorist calling himself the Mandarin starts broadcasting cryptic, chilling messages. He orchestrates a series of bombings that leave no forensic evidence, just shadows on the walls where people used to be. The attacks create a climate of fear across the country. The terror becomes personal for Tony when his friend and head of security, Happy Hogan, is critically injured in one of the explosions at the Chinese theater. Fueled by rage and guilt, Tony does something incredibly reckless. He goes on live television, looks straight into the camera, and publicly challenges the Mandarin, giving out his home address. He basically says, "I'm not afraid of you. Come and get me." He thought he was untouchable. He was wrong. The Mandarin, or whoever is behind him, accepts the challenge. Soon after, 3 attack helicopters appear over Tony's cliffside Malibu mansion. What follows is one of the most devastating scenes in the entire MCU. The house is systematically blown apart, piece by piece, before crumbling into the Pacific Ocean. During the chaos, Tony manages to get his new Mark 42 suit onto Pepper just in time to save her from a collapsing ceiling. But Tony himself is dragged underwater, trapped in the wreckage. With his last command, he tells his AI Jarvis to fly him away. The suit, battered and low on power, launches him across the country. Crashing in rural Tennessee, the last location Jarvis was investigating. In a matter of minutes, Tony Stark loses his home, his technology, and his connection to everyone he loves. So what happens when Tony Stark only has his brain, not his suit? Stranded in a snowy small town with a completely broken Iron Man armor, Tony is truly alone. He has no resources, no money, and no way to contact anyone. He finds shelter in a garage and meets a sharp, resourceful kid named Harley Keener. Their dynamic is pure Golda, grumpy, traumatized genius being constantly sassed by a 2-year-old. With Harley's help, Tony starts to piece his suit and himself back together. He becomes a detective, investigating a local explosion that mirrors the Mandarin's attacks. Using makeshift gadgets built from hardware store supplies, he uncovers a conspiracy linked to soldiers who can regenerate from any injury and glow with intense heat. He realizes the bombings aren't from bombs at all, they're from people. People enhanced with Extremis. And this is where the real plan is revealed. The terrorist is just a mask. The real monster is the man behind the curtain. Tony tracks the conspiracy to Miami, where he finds the headquarters of Aldrich Killian. Remember him? The nerdy scientist Tony blew off on the rooftop all those years ago. Killian is now a suave, powerful CEO. He stole Maya Hansen's extremist research, perfected it, and weaponized it. His plan was to create a new, profitable war on terror by controlling both sides. He created the Mandarin to cause chaos, then planned to sell his extremist soldiers to the government as the solution. And to get to Tony, Killian kidnaps Pepper and injects her with a dose of Extremis, planning to use her as a living weapon and a symbol of his power. But then comes the biggest twist of all. Tony infiltrates what he thinks is the Mandarin's palace, ready for a showdown with America's most wanted man. Instead, he finds a drunk, washed-up British actor named Trevor Slattery. The scariest terrorist in the world is a fraud. Killian hired him to play a role, feeding him lines and filming him on a green screen. The Mandarin was never real. This completely reframes the conflict. The enemy isn't an ideological terrorist. It's a bitter, vengeful corporate executive using super soldiers to manipulate global markets. It's a brilliant subversion of expectations, shifting the threat from a symbol of fear to a very personal enemy. Everything culminates in a massive final battle on a decommissioned oil rig where Killian is holding both the president and Pepper. Tony, having finally repaired his suit, calls in the cavalry. He activates the house party protocol, and dozens of his automated Iron Man suits fly to the battle, creating an incredible aerial ballet of chaos and destruction. It's an army of Iron Men versus Killian's extremist soldiers. But the real climax isn't about Tony. In the middle of the fight, Pepper, whose body is now supercharged by Extremis, is seemingly lost in a fiery explosion. Just as a grieving Tony is about to be killed by Killian, she reappears. Powered by Extremis, she saves Tony and, with a final, decisive blow, destroys Killian for good. For the first time, it's not Tony saving Pepper. It's Pepper saving Tony. In the aftermath, a question hangs in the air. If you take away the armor, does Iron Man still exist? Tony finally has the answer. As a grand romantic gesture to Pepper, he orders Jarvis to destroy all his suits. A spectacular fireworks display, signaling a promise to put his obsession behind him. He decides he no longer needs the arc reactor in his chest to survive or to be a hero. He undergoes a dangerous surgery to have the shrapnel removed, finally freeing himself from the piece of technology that both created and defined him. The movie ends with Tony Stark standing in the ruins of his home, holding the old arc reactor. He realizes the suits were just a cocoon. He is Iron Man, with or without the armor. Thanks for watching.